What's up, guys? So I'm going to share with you today my 3 favorite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructional books. I have about 20 different books that I have back in the office, and my students ask me all the time, they're like, which ones are my favorite, which ones would I recommend people to buy? So I'm going to share with you guys the ones that I got the most out of personally. I'll tell you why. And again, these books are kind of universal, so there are a lot of good books out there that I'm not going to list, but a lot of times those focus on very specific positions. These 3 books, I think you can use these no matter what position you personally enjoy working on, or no matter what level of jiu-jitsu you're at that point. All right, guys, so the very first book I want to show is the JiuJitsu University by this is Salo and Kevin Howell. Guys, this is a fantastic book. I don't care what level you're at. If you are a beginner or if you're advanced, this is an awesome book. It has really good information in the book itself. It has good illustrations both of what to do and what not to do. You'll see through it has like little X's and stuff like that to tell you don't do this, like common mistakes. Salo shares a little bit of his philosophy on jiu-jitsu in the beginning, which is interesting. And it's broken up really well and categorized pretty well. And what I like about this book is every little bit of it, right? It's all sound, fundamental technique, stuff that can really be a good foundation for your game. When I bought this book, I was a brown belt at the time, and I had started teaching classes, and it was a good way for me to kind of look back at some of the really sound fundamental techniques that I could show to some of the guys I taught to the beginner classes. As you progress in jiu-jitsu, you'll notice something. You could look, like if you look through this book as a white belt, you'll notice certain things. And then if you come back and say a blue belt and then purple belt and a brown belt, you'll notice something different every time because you're at a different stage of your game, and there's just so much information in this thing that every time you look through it, as you progress, you're going to notice little different bits of information. When you look at the pictures, you'll notice different body adjustments, things like that. So guys, if you are a beginner or advanced guy, I can't recommend this book enough to everyone, especially if you don't have any books. If you're looking to get one, I would start with this one. It's a fantastic jiu-jitsu book to add to your library. All right, guys, so the next book I'm going to share with you is Andre Galvão's Drill to Win with Kevin Howell again. And you can see that this book has been used a lot as it's all tore up and sticking out with post-it notes. A lot of the drills in it reminded me of wrestling, where basically you're doing everything at a fast pace, you're getting lots and lots of repetitions, and you're able to get that technical efficiency from all those reps. So in addition to being incredibly sweaty and getting a good workout. So it's got a lot of good movement drills. It's got good technique-specific drills. Everything from grip breaking to taking the back to submissions. And then for me personally, the reason I bought this book was because I was always impressed with Andre's game. He moved like a little guy, or he's bouncing all over the place, and at the same time he's beating guys down like a battering ram, right? So he's heavy, but he's fast and he's mobile, and he just everywhere. And so I always thought that was a cool game, and at the time I bought this, I was a brown belt, and I was about 230, and so I wanted to add a little bit of that style into my game. And one of the things, I guess, compliments that I get now is when I roll with people is they'll tell me, man, I wasn't expecting a big guy to move that way. So for me, I think I got a lot of my movement from this book, and from drills that were in this book and drills that I sort of came up with on my own that were sort of inspired from this book. So if you have a chance to get this book, unfortunately it's out of print. It's about $125 now on Amazon. You might be able to find it cheaper than that, but if you do have a chance to pick the book up, it's definitely worth the money. So the next book I'm going to share with you guys is Jacques Machado's Black Belt Techniques with Kid Pellegro. And this is another one of those books. It's similar to JiuJitsu University in the fact that it has a lot of just fundamental technique that's kind of evergreen, right? It doesn't matter when you're training, what level you're at, what position, it has something for you in this book. But I will add that it has some tricky setups in there, and so it has a little bit more of a transitional element to some of the submissions, whereas JiuJitsu University shows you the technique itself. This will have kind of like little transitions and things like that you can use, at least that's what I got out of it. The way that I use this is that I would take some of the drills from Drill to Win, and I would sort of pair them with the transitional submissions and elements of this book, and then pin them together, and you'd make these really cool like chain combos that were really fun to drill. If you have a chance to pick this book up, it's a fantastic book, excellent, and I believe this one's still in print. So guys, if you're new to jiu-jitsu, because sometimes I've talked to young guys and they don't know who this guy is. If you're new to jiu-jitsu and you don't know who this guy is, Jacques Machado, go look him up. Go on YouTube as soon as this video is done. Get online, go on YouTube, and just watch some of his competition matches. He's an incredibly impressive competitor and a good teacher. And one of the impressive things about it, and again, I don't mean this in any slight to him whatsoever, is that if you look at his hand here, he has basically, it's like a pinky and a thumb, and he was able to, you know, again, so gripping, imagine that, right? Like he strengthened this hand up and adjusted his style enough that he was able to compete with the best guys in the world and win. So again, check this guy out, and then if you have a chance to get this book, it's definitely worth the money, and learn a lot from it. So I'm interested in hearing what kind of books you like. So if there's a particular book you've used in your own training, put it down in the comments below and tell me, you know, what you got out of the book. And if it's one of the books that I've listed in the video, again, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on it and see if they kind of match up with mine, if you got some of the same information out of it, or if maybe you've sort of figured out something different from it. So again, if you guys have any questions, shoot them over to me. If you like the video, subscribe. And that's it. So thanks, guys.